Hey everyone, today I am tackling another basic maintenance task that almost anyone can do at home, including you. I've got a 2005 Honda CR-V and I need a cabin air filter, which is located behind the glove box, and I need an engine air filter located under the hood. I haven't done these in a while, but I also just spent 4 days of the previous week on a very dusty construction job site, so if they weren't ready before, I'm pretty sure they are now. Step one, as always, is just to remove any loose items you have in the glove box, because the glove box is going to have to come loose for this to work. I do have some wiring left in here, but because that is tied to the glove box, I'm not going to try and take that out. That's just for an auxiliary Bluetooth module. This is going to be my cabin air filter. It's a MicroGuard. I just bought it because it's the entry-level one, I think, at O'Reilly Auto Parts. No particular preference. You can get the cabin air filter at just about any auto parts store of your choice these days. Likewise, the engine air filter. Again, another MicroGuard. No particular preference. Choose what works for you. Step one is to remove a pair of clips that are located in the glove box here, and then the glove box will drop forward. Okay, so getting up close and personal with our glove box here, here's one of the clips right here. This is a retainer that prevents the box from simply dropping out. The other one, of course, is located right over there. And looking at the back side, you can see it just kind of snaps in there and then rocks forward. And then right behind it, we'll see in a minute, is the actual catch. Both of those have to come out for this glove box to drop forward. In general, I'd recommend using plastic tools when trying to remove plastic tabs, but if you're careful, you can get this out with these. Okay, step one is going to be to rock the glove box up just slightly, so I'm taking the pressure off of it, and then very gently push both of those tabs in at the same time until that just gives. You can pull it out from the inside like so. If you do break this, it is possible to order replacements on eBay or wherever, from your Honda dealer also, of course. You might even want to keep one spare around just in case, because this is a regular maintenance item. Looking at the second one here, it's going to be the same procedure, but keep in mind that when this one comes loose, there's no longer anything to hold the glove box. So, squeeze gently and push. It rocks forward, and we can very carefully remove it. That's two. The glove box is now going to drop like this. Note that on some vehicles the entire glove box would drop out completely, but on this one it just remains in that hinged position. Looking up inside the glove box, we now see on this model we have this little door right here. This particular one has to be pulled out gently and then rocked backwards, and then our whole filter cartridge slides out like this, or rather this is one of two. And this is a very tight one, all things considered. And then when we slide out the first one, the second one comes over like this and then slides out the same hole. That's two. Okay, opening up our replacement package, we should find two exactly like that. Here they are. Now here's an important note. Our trays that we pulled out are reusable. So first of all, note the direction of airflow. This is going to be down towards the airbox. Same with this one. So both of them need to be installed that they flow this way. We then need to remove our old filters from the plastic trays, which we are going to reuse. Careful though, because this will drop dust all over the place. Again, so now we take our replacement filters, direction of airflow down, put them in the tray accordingly. This last pleat over here is supposed to be designed to catch on the edge of the tray over there, and that way it makes a nice solid seal. Okay, so now that we have our filters trayed, we slide the trays back in just like before. And again, notice that the direction of airflow is also labeled on the tray, so everything lines up as expected. These are just a little bit irritating to work back in under here, but once it goes in, then it just slides straight in. First one, it goes in and slides over to the right. That's one of two. Second one, again, note this time the tab is oriented to the opposite so that they can only go in one way. So this one, if you accidentally slid this one in first, with airflow facing down like labeled there, it would not slide over. So just make sure you get those two in there. And then finally, this door needs to go back on, which it does by first pushing under there and then snapping back in place. That's all there is to it for the air filter, and now we just need to get the glove box put back up. Okay, so we still have, I'll tuck that Bluetooth wire out of the way so it doesn't get pinched. We still have our two standard connectors just like we did before. Now the only trick here is I've got to work the glove box in far enough that I can push that through behind the catch and then be able to snap that back in. And there it is, that's one. This one here, similar thing. Push the glove box up just slightly. Get that in behind the catch location. Snap that back in place. And the glove box is set. Finally, of course, just put everything back in your glove box, and that takes care of that step. Now, as for why we changed filters, well, look at that. Full of dust, full of lint, a few leaves. No insects this time, but it's seen that in the past. Yeah, this very kindly kept you from breathing all that. Okay, on our 2005 Honda CR-V, the engine air filter is located in this box here. Now, some of these are fairly straightforward because they just come up with clips. But Honda was afraid it might fly off and, I don't know, go someplace because, look, screw, 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 screw. Yeah, okay. If I remember correctly, these are at least captive, so there's that going for us, which is nice. Okay, so there is a better option. You can do this by hand with a Phillips screwdriver if that's all you've got. But these screws also have 8mm bolt heads. Let's jump over to another job where we used a socket and an electric ratchet. This is much faster and less aggravating if you've got the tools. Just don't overdo the torque when reinstalling later. Most cars don't make you do this, but in this case we are going to have to remove one more hose in order to get this airbox up cleanly. Now the airbox should lift up, and as it does, should be able to slide it out of this hose. And yeah, okay, that whole section came off, that's great. And there we are. This Honda is one of the few vehicles I've ever seen that uses a weird circular filter like that. Usually it's just a flat pack, sort of looks kind of like the cabin air filter, but bigger. That's okay. This one has to come out. Here's the replacement. That looks much cleaner. Doesn't seem to be directional that I can tell, so slide in there, make sure it seals on nice and tight. Okay. Again, this isn't the worst engine air filter I've ever seen, but definitely full of dust, and the engine will breathe a little easier with a fresh, clean one in there. And now we just reattach the airbox and make sure that it seals on there nice and tight, because if it doesn't, it's not fitting into that little hole on the top. Okay, second check. We removed 5 screws, 1 hose, and 2 hose clamps. We have secured 5 screws, 1 hose, and 2 hose clamps along with the replacement air filter. So that's all there is to it. It only takes about 15 minutes to do both once you've got the hang of it. These are regular maintenance items. You can check your factory service manual for regular intervals, and partly it depends on whether you live in a particularly dusty or dirty climate, get lots of leaves going in, insects, whatever. But in any case, every 10 to 15,000 miles is usually not a bad idea for your cabin air filters, although you can go longer. And your engine air filter, again, check your factory service manual to see what it says. But there it is. You can do it yourself. You don't have to hire a mechanic for that, as long as you're comfortable removing a few screws and clips. Hey everyone, that's all for Workshop Quick Takes today. Again, more basic maintenance that you can do at home, and it's relatively low risk, needs only basic tools. And when you get the hang of where everything is and how it comes apart, it's quick to do. So, see you again next time, whenever that is. Has anyone seen my phone?